343 Industries is hard at work on Halo Infinite behind the scenes, and although we do not have much information about it, we know that they are assembling a pro team and there will be announcements on the project in some form at E3 2019. What we won't be getting information on until launch, or at least close to launch, will be the future of competitive Halo. With the release of MCC on PC coming this year, and 343 apparently looking into the competitive Halo scene on PC, would 343 actually consider moving competitive Halo to PC for Halo Infinite? I am your host, the erroneous and irrelevant Rehab Center, back at it with the weekly Halo content that you probably haven't been watching. Today, we are going to look at the positives and negatives to moving tournament play to PC, and speculate on the possibility of 343 actually going through with it. Can us console plebs band together and fight for what we believe in? Or is it time for the members of the PC master race to high-five at the thought of mass genocide of the Xbox console? Let's get into it. First off, I do want to give a shout out to Sir Alexander the Shyway, because honestly, I never even considered the possibility that 343 would move competitive to PC for Halo Infinite. But he has brought it up multiple times on the HCS Weekly Show. Great podcast for competitive Halo fans, by the way, and it really has me thinking that they might actually do it. So, why shouldn't they move to PC? First off, Halo has been mostly a console exclusive for the entirety of the franchise's life, other than a couple bad PC ports. I always figured Halo getting a full PC release would have no effect on the competitive community, similarly to COD. Black Ops 4 seemed to have a renewed focus on the PC community with its release, but competitive still stuck to console, and I fully assumed Halo would be the same deal. Halo has years of history and tradition in the competitive scene on console, and I personally feel moving to PC for tournament play would be a spit in the face to all the fans who stuck with the series through all these years. Think of all the players we've grown to love or hate over these years, who could be cast aside due to mouse and keyboard being the new weapon of choice. Now, to be fair, I don't think competitive moving to PC would mean that all the current players would just disappear. And over here at Rehabilitation Nation, we try to avoid making blanket statements like that in order to prove our point. I mean, these are all professional caliber gamers. A lot of them are probably still very capable with a keyboard and mouse. But still, I think the fact that they play professional console esports as opposed to a PC game shows that they prefer and are better with a controller. Another argument I've heard is that Halo is a different game, where maybe using a controller isn't a huge disadvantage. It is a game that requires extensive knowledge of spawns and weapons that simply being a good shot won't propel you to the top of. And this may be supported by people like Nick Merckx and Snipedown, competing in PC games using a controller and still being able to hang. But I think PC players just have a higher skill ceiling. I think if competitive moved to PC, the current pros would dominate at first. Their years of Halo knowledge would reign supreme for the first year or so. But once PC players learn the ins and outs of Halo, I think we'd end up seeing our favorite players fade away. A controller just doesn't let you whip around like a mouse does. Imagine getting 4 pistol shots into someone before they 180 headshot you with a sniper. It just can't be done on a controller, and I think it would just be a matter of time before current pros either need to switch to keyboard and mouse, or be left behind. Another thing that makes me want competitive on Xbox is that for the most part, everyone is playing on the same system. And I only say for the most part because with this generation, they implemented the Xbox One X, which had a lot more performance power than the base model, and theoretically should run games better. But with everyone playing on the same setup at home or at tournaments adds an equal playing field for everyone competing. Take it from someone who just bought an RTX 2070 and a 144Hz monitor. A smoother experience makes it easier to aim and gives you a distinct advantage. You aren't going to hop on your grandma's Dell running Windows 97 and be able to compete with someone on a $4,000 PC build. It just won't happen. One of the reasons I prefer Halo to games like Call of Duty is that everyone has the same loadout. The level playing field is my favorite aspect to a competitive game, and I think moving to PC would, at least in some form, disrupt this. One last thing I've heard on HCS Weekly was that PC offers players the choice to plug a controller in, if that's what you prefer, and then it opens up competition to both console players and PC players. And I thought this was a good argument because it offers more choice and opportunity to more players. The only reason to be against it is the notion that PC players have a distinct advantage, and being a console player, that instantly puts negative thoughts in my head. But the more I thought about this argument, I thought about how keyboard and mouse support was added to Xbox One, and will probably be present on the next generation. Why should console players be forced to purchase a high-end PC just to compete, when the Xbox could offer players the option to use a controller or keyboard and mouse as well? The obvious answer is that no PC player would ever be willing to play on an Xbox at 60 FPS, when their PCs probably would run it at 150 plus. I just feel like moving competitive to PC would be a form of 343 pandering to a new audience, instead of taking care of its current fans. The same way Halo 4 tried to pander to a new group of players, instead of trying to satisfy its existing fan base. But as always, there are two sides to every argument, and there are definitely perks to having competitive played on PC. Firstly, having HCS on PC opens the door for many more sponsorships. There are many additional parts to a PC, and all of the companies who make those items would be fair game to sponsor the Halo Championship Series. Right now, the only available sponsorships for console gaming are headset or controller manufacturers. More sponsorships means bigger prize pools, which could lead to higher viewership. The community benefits in all aspects. The PC community is also just infinitely larger than the console community, and having competitive on PC will just add to the number of players competing. Again, more competitors brings in more sponsorships, which benefits all parties. I do think that just having Halo Infinite on PC adds to the pool of players interested in competitive Halo. More people will certainly watch competitive Halo on console if they play actively on PC. But that added barrier of not being able to compete could deter players from having a larger interest in the scene. For example, I watch competitive COD from time to time, but I don't sit there and watch all the matches on tournament weekends like I would for Halo. Being an Xbox player, I don't have the opportunity to compete on pro points ladders, which sort of distances me from the competitive scene. I was much more intertwined in competitive COD in the Advanced Warfare days, where I could win one of my 20 pro points ladder matches and see a little pro points counter on my game battles profile. My point is that having competitive on PC will result in peak interest. I think the decision, whenever it comes, will be a battle between good business and good faith to current Halo fans. And that brings us to everyone's favorite part of the video. The part where you get to tell me how dumb my opinion is. Do you guys want to see Halo Infinite's competitive scene move to PC? Or do you want it to remain where it's always been, on the Xbox? Or are you willing to give up our competitive scene to the PC community in hopes that Halo returns as one of the most prominent competitive esports in the world? Talk about selling your soul to the devil. But anyways, thanks so much for watching if by some miracle you're still here. And as always, we are putting out a new Halo video every Sunday. So if you enjoyed our content, feel free to check out more and be on the lookout for our next video. We are currently on pace to hit 1,000 subscribers in a little over a year. At that point, I'll be able to quit my job, continue living with my parents, and tell all the friends that I don't have that I'm a professional YouTuber. And only you can accelerate the process. So please subscribe. If not for my content, do it out of pity. Goodbye.